950 megawatt gas power plant burns in a day the energy equivalent to 3 Hiroshima-sized bombs. In February 2010, a gas explosion at the Clean Energy gas power plant in Middletown, Connecticut, killed 6 and injured 50 people. The blast damaged dwellings well over half a mile away. In September 2010, a gas pipeline explosion and fire in San Bruno, California, killed 8 and destroyed and damaged building dwellings 200 yards from the pipeline. What would happen if these same events occurred at the Tenaska Westmoreland gas power plant? This first graphic shows a satellite view of the Tenaska plant site vicinity. This red rectangle points to the location of the plant. The magenta line shows the plant property line, and the red circle shows a half-mile radius, which would represent the damage line associated with a clean energy type accident. What this shows is that the Tenaska plant is right up against the southwest border of its property line. This means that if there was a clean energy type accident, all of the dwellings just south of the plant would be affected. This is Charlie's Road, and there are school buses that run up and down Charlie's Road, so this means that if there was a school bus going down there, kids would be killed. Up here is just above the plant site is the location of the Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival. So if an accident occurred while that festival was in progress, there would be possibly hundreds of people injured or killed. This is Route 31, and out here on the right side of the figure is the location of the Yacht Middle School and the Mendon Elementary School, which are only about a mile away from the plant. So there is a lot of school bus traffic that runs on 31 just north of the plant site. So again, if there was an accident that occurred while the kids were going back and forth to school or traveling to school, then there's a risk of a lot of kids being affected. During this area around the plant is heavily wooded and it's full farmland, and there's a lot of hunting that takes place in the fall. And so if there was an accident that occurred, any hunters in this area would be hurt or killed. There are two shallow gas wells on the property, and there is a Marcellus gas well just 2/10 of a mile away from the plant site. So the question that this raises is there a possibility of a chain reaction of explosions because of multiple gas sources so close to each other? And would emergency agencies order mile-wide evacuations as they did the other day at a power plant near Morgantown in response to a potential methane gas tank explosion? And would this shut down Interstate 70 and Pennsylvania 31, which are close to the plant? This middle orange line represents the path of the gas line that will supply the Tenaska site. The upper and lower orange lines are 200 yards on either side of the gas line path and indicate the damage line or area of damage should a San Bruno type a pipe explosion occur. The upper orange line is just south of the location of the Mendon and Yock schools. And so the question is, will the children attending these schools practice evaluation drills in preparation for a potential gas line explosion? Since much of the area around the plant is undeveloped and the terrain is hilly and wooded, fire at the plant site might easily spread beyond 200 yards associated with this accident scenario. And so the question arises, will fire crews have, since fire crews would not have ready access in these areas, how would these fires in these areas be extinguished?
Sir, your time has expired. So
Okay.
Thank you very much. And if you have anything that you'd like to submit, we'll certainly read it.
All right. Well, could I just make one brief minute for the, this is the second graphic. This shows the effect of this. The point I wanted to make here is that there are air emissions associated with the plant, and this windrows up in this section shows that the emissions are going to be traveling east and north in the direction of central Westmoreland County. So this means that all the emissions are going to be affecting the whole central part of the county. It's not just a local South Huntington problem. There are.
Sir, I think we got it. I revealed it. And thank you very much for your help.
You want me to yield my time too? I could have. Oh, they got it.
Here, let me pass these are the complete handouts.
You should have rehearsed.
I'd simply like to make the concluding statement.
Sir, we have to move on.
I'll yield my time to
We
him.
will read this. Okay. I guarantee you. Thank you very much. Who's the next person who would like to speak? Yes, sir. Please. State your name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Jack Milburn, Ligonier, Pennsylvania. With your permission, I'd like to provide a statement on behalf of my wife, who is at a medical appointment today. She's the president of Westmoreland Marcellus Citizen Troop. What will be the future of Westmoreland County? As commissioners, you serve as trustees to protect the environment and health of residents. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that all government, state and local, have the responsibility and constitutional obligation under Pennsylvania Constitution Act 1, Section 27, to act as a trustee of the environment for future generations of citizens. Where is the vision for future generations in this county? What does it say about Westmoreland, which, to the best of our knowledge, is the only county in the state to frack and have multiple spills around their drinking water reservoir? Now, the gas plant proposed by Tenaska in South Huntington will serve as a permanent source of air pollution. Our county is already listed as a non-attainment area for ozone and PM 2.5. In rankings based on data compiled by Scorecard, a site that integrates over 400 scientific and governmental databases to generate its profiles of local environmental quality and toxic chemicals, Westmoreland ranks poorly, in the worst 10% of counties in the nation in both air and water releases recognized reproductive toxicants. The county ranks in the worst 20% of counties in chemical releases causing suspected health effects including blood or cardiovascular disease, cancer, and immune problems. And I have references cited here where you can do further research. Tenaska will add hundreds of thousands of pounds per year of nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate to our air with the great potential of harmful effects on health. The study by Allison Inslee, prepared for the Clean Air Council of Drexel University School of Public Health, noted that the air pollution that results from gas production has the potential to travel many, many miles downwind, thus affecting us all. The American Lung Association has awarded Westmoreland County a D, as in dog, in ozone pollution, yet nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compounds produced by Tenaska will worsen an already existing ozone problem. The Lung Association also stated that every county in the Pittsburgh region, except for Westmoreland, had fewer bad air days for ozone and daily particulate pollution compared with the fewer bad air days for ozone and daily particulate pollution compared with the previous report. Westmoreland County was the only county to score a failing grade for particulate matter. This county does not have the capacity to handle additional emissions. This county does not have a Department of Health to monitor air and protect our health. This county has only 2 air stations and they monitor only a few pollutants. All 6 primary air pollutants in the area should be analyzed during every season of the year in the event this plant is built. There clearly needs to be a designated professional in Westmoreland County to analyze, monitor, and report on air quality. This position is long overdue and funds need to be allocated to support it.
Sir, thank you very much. Your time has expired. We would love to have a copy of what
You will have it.
read there. Thank you very
One
much.
last sentence, sir.
Sure, go ahead.
The focus in this county, in our view, should be on clean energy and clean industry, not on promoting an industry that will further deteriorate our air and water. That vision, gentlemen, would provide long-term growth, a livable environment, and healthy residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Mike Atherton, and I'm a resident of Westmoreland County. It's a sworn duty of each county commissioner to protect the health and welfare of every citizen in Westmoreland County, whether or not they live in a zoned area. Where citizens live in unzoned township, the county commissioners must provide the governmental protection for these citizens, lest they be subjected to the powerful corporation that can overwhelm these citizens. The relevant form of government protection concerning land use is for commissioners to supervise all land use plans and determine the impacts on citizens either through personal evaluation or through the designation of duties to qualified agencies and personnel. But law rests on ethics, not the other way around. Therefore, we must consider the ethical status of the proposed plans. If we calculate the greatest good for the greatest number, we see that Tenaska operation will produce dangerous pollution of the air, water, and land, as well as a constant overwhelming noise and light emissions. These impacts are sufficient to destroy both land value and the way of life that local residents have a right to expect. If we pay close attention to these impacts, then it becomes clear that it's not the greatest good for the greatest number, rather it's the greatest profit for a single company. The greatest number of people will live in a perpetual state of ill health, unsecure land value, and constant disruption of their life. If we look at the proposed number of jobs, we see approximately 20 workers. Compare these 20 jobs to over 700 families whose lives are perpetually disrupted, and see the greatest good from the Tenaska plan does not go to the greatest number. Tenaska plan offends our sense of fairness. If we applied fairness to the plan, then it means each county commissioner, in all fairness, would be willing to move themselves and their loved ones to live next to the Tenaska plant. Since no parent or spouse would expose their loved one to such a hellish existence, the county commissioners cannot condemn families to live in such conditions just because they live in an unzoned area.
I have a house they can buy.
That is, unless the commissioners are willing to live next to the plant themselves, they have no right to permit plans that condemn others to do so. Therefore, it is the duty of the county commissioners to use their considerable influence to resist the proposed plant of Tenaska. If we take the proposed plant on a social and physical context, we see the impacts are severest on those who live closest to the plant. However, the impacts go beyond those who live nearby. The impacts expand ever outward, both socially and physically. Socially, we see, for example, a child with asthma who lives close to the plant as the center of concern, worry, and consternation from the family and friends. These people in turn express their concern to others, and thus we see the suffering expand to touch the lives of untold numbers of people. Multiply this one child by hundreds, and the social impact grows ever larger. Look at the physical impact. The physical impact does not miraculously stop at the border of the proposed plant. Winds carry pollution far beyond gates and fences. Polluted water pouring constantly from the proposed plant will change the nature of the Yuck River and its tributaries, perhaps irretrievably.
Time to wrap.
Okay, I have suggestions. I'll give them to you.
Yeah, please do. We will review them.
Okay.
But thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Cynthia Walter, 916 Essex Drive, Greensburg. Hello. I'm a scientist with over 30 years' experience teaching and research related to environmental issues. I speak today about your decisions to encourage Tenaska to build a power plant, a gigantic industrial facility that will annually release 8.4 million pounds of air pollution near 2 schools and send over 1 million gallons of 100-degree water containing toxins into the Yuck each day. The local township lacks zoning, and we have no county health department, so you 3 people are the primary protectors for the health of hundreds of school children, over 600 families, many active farms. We'll hear from some of those farmers today, I hope, and other businesses near this proposed plant. Before Tenaska starts construction, you need to take actions because citizens are not prepared for these changes in air and water, and the DEP regulations are inadequate and out of date. Now, I identify 4 specific scientific problems and ways you can address those as you 3 commissioners. Briefly, I'll overview those so for the purpose of time. 1, we need studies. We need qualified independent air and water studies. The DEP has not done those studies. They cannot do those studies. We need economic studies. Then second area, we need monitoring. We must have that air monitored before construction starts. We can put those monitors right on the schools. They will provide an air monitoring need that we have in the southern part of the county anyway. We need water monitoring, and in fact, low-income families in the affected area need help paying for those water tests, and those water tests must be done for 4 seasons. A full year of data is necessary for their legal protection. A full year of air, a full year of water testing must be done before construction, or it's unfair to let these people take the hit from that plant without any legal backing. Now, the third area, you have to require the industry as conditional use to provide real-time measures and public disclosure of all of their chemicals. You can't just let them give you annual and monthly reports, which is the way the law is written. The law is out of date. Finally, you need to have more public comment. We have to have a learning session with independent, you can host a learning session with independent experts because the DEP technology reports are unreadable to the average public. And you need to have a listening session beyond these little 3-minute things that you're hearing today. Now, to conclude, let's look back. 5 years ago, when Tenaska reps came to Larry Larice, the planning director then, they promised construction jobs, permanent jobs, and tax revenue. Looked like easy money. I think Larice and maybe the commissioners then failed to ask, what are the downsides? Now we know the construction jobs may not all be local workers. The huge plant brings only 20 jobs, and it will pump those 8.5 million pounds of chemicals in the air and water pollution too.
Thank you very much.
So my point is that 5 years ago, 50 years ago, we let Denora provide air pollution in exchange, experience 20 deaths in air pollution in exchange for jobs. Now we've cleaned up a little bit of that air, but we still exchange health for a few jobs. You can't make those people exchange their health for 20 jobs. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful job, beautiful.
Next speaker? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just gonna help.
Okay.
No, that's okay. Her name is Hildred Irwin, but she goes by Ann.
And
Her address is 317
Stantz
Stants Road, Rockdale, Pennsylvania, 15679. I have a handout for you that
Thank you
mentions
very
an
much.
article.
Okay. Good morning. I have been a resident of South Huntington Township.
Hold on, Mom. Hold on. She needs to hear the microphone because you won't hear her.
For more than 40 years. As a long-term resident and taxpayer, I am concerned about the safety of the community in which I live and those of the outlying areas here in Westmoreland County. My family and our neighbors are particularly concerned about the air quality and water quality and will be significantly affected by the Tenaska plant since we only live 2 miles as the crows fly from it. We are also concerned
Excuse
about
me,
how this
Commissioners.
position
Could you
will
give her a
affect
little more time
our
because
property
she is
value.
brain impaired and she's.
We are just a few of the concerns that I would like, here are just a few of the concerns that I would like to address to you, our county commissioners. We are concerned about the air pollution affecting our farmland and our county. You know that Westmoreland County ranks consistently as one of the worst counties for ozone and particulate pollution. This power plant would only exacerbate the air quality and the water quality of the surrounding area, including local streams, wells, and the Yacht River. We request that any permit be delayed being issued until such time as residents can get water testing, wells, or water supplies over the course of 4 seasons, which would mean at least a year's delay. Our county commissioners hold the responsibility to allow us to get the year of data that we present our case. We are concerned about the methane and what distance it goes from the plant when running at full capacity, and understand that a baseline test of methane as it stands currently has not been done. Before the plant is built, we want a methane baseline and another one after the plant is built to show whether or not there is significant damage to air quality. There's considerable concern about the air quality as the plant would stand so close to schools and our farm and our immediate community, and especially, you know, the primary students. The methane baseline should be a requirement before any permit is even issued. Even in Pittsburgh, when U.S. Steel was in full production, the pollution in the surrounding area caused asthma, emphysema, and other lung conditions. Since the steel industry has mostly moved overseas, the air quality in Pittsburgh has significantly been
Has significantly been reduced.